Welcome to Sales is Not a Dirty Word, the podcast that shows you how to convert 8 out of 10 sales conversations without acting like a douchebag. I'm your host, innovative sales coach Aleasha Bahr, the creator of the Black Sheep Sales Method, because if it's a fit, it's a fact, and there's no selling involved. If you're a service provider selling your own service and ready to sell differently than the mainstream status quo and win more sales without pressure, pitching, or pretending to be someone else, then this is for you. If you want to know more about the Black Sheep Sales Method, then go to AleashaBahr.com. This episode is with Alefiya Karaki. As a funnel strategist and conversion copywriter, Alefiya specializes in building and optimizing quiz funnels that generate consistent, stable income. With a knack for crafting copy that gives your readers full-body tingles, Alefiya turns complex ideas into irresistible, action-driving content. Join us to discover how her unique approach can transform your funnel strategy and boost your revenue. And then I always like to have a black sheep on the show. So Alefiya is a wonderful example of what's possible when you're in a culture that maybe isn't all about online entrepreneurship, which, let's be real, we all feel weird being online entrepreneurs and most of our families don't understand. But Alefiya is a Muslim woman who's 24. She wears the hijab and everything, and her family is entrepreneurs, but not online entrepreneurs. And I absolutely love how fiery and fierce and intelligent she is and driven in a culture in India that, traditionally it doesn't necessarily breed that. So I'm very excited for her to be here. And she has a different approach to quiz funnels, which can help all of us because she used to do funnel strategies and she realized that quizzes just completely blew any of those statistics out of the water. So welcome to the big show. Sales is not a dirty word. Let's go.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all the lovely compliments. I'll take them. And so happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here because, I love just the inspiration of when Black Sheep are together. And then I also love that you're offering an alternative that's going to get people better results because people try quizzes and then they just say that it doesn't work, right?
Yeah, for sure. And why they say that is because they try it. They take like Interact or Score App or Typeform, Tally. And then when I have a look at their quizzes, mostly they are like surveys. So how much, like at what stage of growth you are, how much income do you have, like maybe if it's like sleep quiz, how much time do you sleep at night. And when you have such questions, people are almost like smelling a pitch at the end, that okay, they'll do a diagnosis and then they'll ask me to book a call. So it's like very predictable. And the whole reason why I was just doing a quiz this morning by J.K. Rowling herself, and it's the sorting hat quiz, and which puts you
I
in.
did that one.
Yeah. And me being a quiz like strategist myself, I was like, okay, maybe like this answer is so Gryffindor, and I wanted to end up in Gryffindor. So what happened was I ended up in Ravenclaw just by getting those answers. But that proved that that was such a good quiz because the predictability was very low, and the answers were something that are not expected. And that's what a good quiz should be. And it should encourage people to like tick the boxes based on their instincts. It should have some personality element to that. Like if you were food, which food you would be. And those personality elements do, like placing them strategically, it just adds to a whole new experience of being like of going through the quiz.
I could see that. It's like, ooh, it piques your curiosity. Like, why are they asking this question? I wonder what that has to do with this.
Yeah, exactly. And then also that feeling of, oh yeah, well, like if this is it, what will my personality be? Because we're like, a human can never know himself completely. So that however much someone has studied human design or psychology, they will always be drawn towards it because it's just something that you can't know yourself enough.
Yeah, well, and you also are what I loved when we talked before the podcast episode was that you're very strategic about the intention behind it. So, what is a way that people can take the quiz and not be like, oh, I'm just going to hear that I'm terrible at this, right? Like, because I think a lot of times that's how the quizzes are set up, to tell you like, oh, you suck and you need help, and I can help you, right? So you actually have created quizzes that people brag about, that share with others and say, you have to take this, and this is what my status result was, which is what people do with JK Rowling's quiz. They want to say what the result was, and that shareability makes a huge difference in results. So, can you tell us, you had a great example of someone who does email marketing that you helped?
Yeah. And yeah, okay, I love that. So what we did for her is we created like her quiz, her course. It was an e-commerce email strategy course. So her course was becoming synonymous in the copywriting industry as like, okay, other copywriting courses, one of the email marketing courses that are there on the internet. However, her specialization was strategy, like e-commerce strategy, and building up, planning the whole audit and the whole funnel, the whole life cycle emails. So we wanted to create a quiz that becomes synonymous with strategy. So what we did is we handpicked 8 to 9 scenarios, like real situations where challenges, like, okay, and a mattress brand does this, and they have this struggle, which were real struggles from her discovery calls, sales calls, past projects. And we picked these from her, the live sessions which she taught, and then we picked those and then we turned that into a quiz. And then that quiz was followed by a 50-page ebook. And by the stats we had, no one downloads ebooks, no one reads ebooks. But in that 50-page ebook, we broke down each right answer and why was it the right answer in that particular scenario, and then like the wrong answers from the quiz, where that wrong answers would be the right ones. And people
Mm.
went mad over it, like, hey, someone said that I am writing my website this morning, but this quiz came in and my hour went by, I never realized it, and it was circling around in MailChimp communities, all because of that whole environment of, okay, like, I got this, what did you get? My And even the expert email copywriters were taking this quiz, like, I got this, and then they were having debates, which is all like buzz. They were having debates like, okay, question 5, I got this wrong, but I still believe that I answered the right one, and this is a blah blah blah. So the buzz part, it was on point. And our goal with this was not sales. Our goal with this quiz was merely list building, and it served to that purpose. And it also added to her credibility and her authority of being the right email strategist for her students. But one thing which you said that quizzes people do, like, hey, you suck at this, do this. So this is not just with
Yeah.
quizzes, but with all copywriting in general. Like, amateur, and this is what I started with as well, and I'm guilty of that. Like, what amateur copywriters do is they're taught this framework of PAS: problem, agitation, solution. So, like, let's take you for example. If you're a sales coach, like, if an amateur copywriter is writing for you, they would start with the pain. Hey, you're getting on discovery calls, and there are no shows, or you're working so hard, but at the end people are saying no, your prices are too high, which are all valid pains. But what you're doing in the process is you're not giving empathy to that person, and you're making them feel
Hmm.
bad about themselves. And when you make someone feel bad about
Well,
themselves, they, like, already the whole world is making them feel bad about themselves with one thing or the other. So the least they can expect from you as a coach is empathy, and more of like empowering, like, hey, I see that you're having 10 conversations a day, you've earned my stripes for that, you're in the field, and that's why you're the right fit for this. And imagine, like, what if you those 10 conversations, and you just amp up a little, so if you're closing 2 of them, maybe tomorrow you can close 4 of them. And that narrative is like, you're just still talking to them about their problem, but first you're acknowledging them for already what they're doing, you're empowering them, you're like motivating them. So that is the narrative we use on the results pages. Like, we want to talk about their weaknesses, but we first make them feel super good about themselves, about their strengths.
So that lines up so incredibly well with my approach to sales, which is about hope. So what you're talking about is when you just talk about the pain, then it just feels hopeless. They just feel bad. And you're positioning yourself as a savior, which is not a good client relationship to get into anyway. Like, I can't save anyone. You're going to have to participate in this. So I love acknowledging people for what they're doing right. And I think that's a really important nuance in this whole quiz thing as well, because people just don't even think about it. And they also don't think about how to structure it so that it doesn't seem like a sales call, but it makes you want a sales call. So, can you give us an example of a quiz funnel that worked really well for sales calls and how it was different than, like, I know sometimes you're coming in, like you told me a statistic, 7 out of 10 people say their quizzes aren't converting, and it's because they have a yes no survey. So, what should they do instead that has worked really well for sales calls?
So many things. Like when you say like the funnels, which I usually the sales call funnel is mostly for agency owners or coaches who currently don't have any sort of like physical products or something like that. But if they have group programs,
Mm-hmm.
even then, like there are many ways. So there's this girl called Justina, and she has built this. I love this concept of the marketing waiting room. So sometimes when people take the quiz or anyone, they want to be like everyone is not ready for the sales conversation just yet. So they need to go in a place where it's like a marketing meeting room. I really love that concept. So actually, a well done quiz results to strategies like marketing meeting rooms, which could be a life challenge, paid private podcast feed, a WhatsApp channel, and I've seen someone doing it, and she's a micro brand with like 5,000 followers and medium to low engagement, and she got like 100 people on in her WhatsApp group within 3 days of launching the quiz, which is amazing, amazing. And already she got 3 people sign up for a higher end mastermind, and I don't think that this would be possible without the quiz. So yes, so what happens is when you actually want sales, you don't do personality quizzes or you don't do like fun brand quizzes, because that's the whole goal for that
Mm.
is brand awareness and list building. And if done
Okay.
well, even they can be like they can generate sales, but it will take like a lot of like the marketing waiting room type strategies to be in the
Yeah.
middle. Like there has to be another conversion touch point, either a webinar, something else, live challenge, something else for them to convert.
Mm-hmm.
But now suppose you're saying, okay, I take sales calls and I sell all my clients via sales calls. So how can I develop a quiz for myself? Then you develop diagnostic quizzes. So let's give an example for that. When you have clients, like say when clients come to you or prospects come to you, in how many categories do you diagnose them for you to understand that are they doing well or not with sales? I'm sure that it's not one. There are multiple areas which they need to perform well in order to be a good at sales.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely offer. A lot of times it's the offer is the issue, or the pricing, or the way it's presented. If they get anything before the sales conversation, like any kind of nurturing that goes out ahead of time, and what does their follow-up look like? I would say those are big ones.
Okay, so can we categorize into offer one? The second would be pre-call, or like let's start with DMs. The way they're having conversations in the DMs. That's the first point. Then how are they transitioning from DMs to call? That's a third point. And then what do they do on a call? And then what do they do after the call? So these are like 4 to 5 categories. So
Mhm.
apps like ScoreApp helps you create diagnostic quizzes, and you can assess people in each. Like someone is very good at calls, but so that's why they're saying, yeah, they feel like I'm good at sales, I'm good at sales, and that's why you're losing
Mhm.
them as a prospect. But when you create a quiz, what happens is they realize, okay, I got 30% in the offer, and I got 45% in the follow up. So this makes sense that this is why my sales numbers are not that high, even though I'm so good at conducting sales calls. I'm using the script and blah, blah, blah. I'm doing all these right things. But this like of more to the, like, it's more than it meets the eye. So when they have that, what happens is they realize that okay, it's more of a holistic thing, and then the sales, and then they're like, okay, you're doing, and then you acknowledge them again, that hey, you are so good at calls and so good at this. What if the opportunities that are there in the offer and the follow-ups, and then you give them tailored some sort of freebies, like here are three follow-up scripts, and then you earn their trust by that. And then if this makes sense, let's hop on a call, or book a 15-minute call to share, to see like how I can help you revamp your offer. So that's where the tailored results pages come into place as well. So if you have only one
Mm.
results page and you're leading everyone to that page, it will not work as well. You need to have like
Mm.
different segments or snippets of copy that meets them where they are. Like if they are at 100%, it talks to them as if they're 100%. If they are at 30%, it talks to them in an encouraging way, and then the whole what if conversation, like what if we scale it a little bit further. So the whole tailored personalized messaging, personalized freebies, personalized support, and then the personalized message for the call as well, it just takes a sales like 5% higher, 10% higher. We've seen 18% higher too.
I mean, that makes sense. Anything custom is always going to work better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty involved. So, I don't know if people are like, ah, but this app you're talking about that kind of prompts you to do those things, the
So
diagnostic quizzing.
yeah, no. So there is a feature in the diagnostic quiz. Score app is, I'm not an affiliate, so just FYI, it's an app, but it's a SaaS product, a tool by Daniel Priestley. And when you'll go on the website, you'll see templates, and then in the templates, one of them has created this whole diagnostic, like where you can assess them in different areas. But the thing is, when you read Daniel's content, or you'll watch his videos, he has like amazing blogs and ideas to share, like how you can use quizzes. But he encourages yes no questions, and that's the only place where we part ways with our approach to quizzes. But the tool itself, it's really good.
Okay, that's really good to know. So, the other big mistake that they're making a lot of times is that they make it about the business owner instead of the prospect, right? Can you give us an example of what it sounds like when it's just about the business owner? I've definitely seen this, but like, what does that sound like?
So these are the principles that we can see around different forms of copy, not just quiz funnels, right? So when
Yeah.
it's all about themselves, imagine like I am a coach who helps agency owners scale their agencies to the next level. Okay, so I'll have like a yes no. So this only mostly happens with the yes no quiz part. So I have a yes no quiz, and then I promise you that I'll give you my agency roadmap thing. And then it's just all about me, how I scaled to six figures, how I did it, and how you should follow me too.
Right.
And you should book a call because I did it. And like, take mine, take mine. I'm the bigger one.
Yeah.
So it's like you make the other person feel so little that they're compelled to do what the authority is asking you to do. So this is manipulative
Right.
marketing, and it does work. It gets people results. Like if you want to use this approach, do it. But it's just not the approach. And like at some point those people will know, like, oh, like they will get triggered into buyer's remorse. They will feel like, okay, I was tricked into this. And when they will realize, okay, what did I fell into? And the whole user experience, like if you have the opportunity to make someone feel good about themselves, why not take it?
Well, I think it goes a step further than that. In my experience, you will sell more when you're focusing on the other person and you're making them have hope for what's possible, not in a way that's like you are lost in a disgusting swamp of misery if we don't work together, but in a way that's like, oh my gosh, you're so close. And if there was just this one little piece, it would be amazing. So, in my experience, like it's not just like a preference, it also works better. Do you see that there's better results from that too? Like, yes, long term, you don't get these bad reviews and these refunds and stuff, but also do you find that more people convert or do you find that it's like the same?
No, of course, more people for sure. And one reason is when imagine someone, we all have bad days. We all have bad days in business. We all have struggling times in business. Imagine, like, for your industry context, someone being rejected by three people back to back, and then they, on the results page, they are reminded of they have hope, they have closed people before, so they are not a newbie at this. They've done it and they can do it. So, like, and imagine, like, the feeling, get like feeling people get reading that type of copy. You are giving them hope, you are, and that's like, people screenshot that snippet and that's what goes viral. Like, I saw this and she read my mind. She gave, it's almost like horoscope. So why, like, it literally is, because we read horoscope because we want to be in that mindset of hope. And when you create that mindset,
Yeah.
people share that. Why do we share motivational quotes so much? There is a reason it gets shared.
Yeah.
And when you have that copy on the results page, it gets the virality it is built for.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a ton of sense. So to have like a quiz result that isn't just about how terrible everything is and how this person can solve it, because also, as you said, that's super predictable and it's just not compelling. Are there other things that you notice make a huge difference in quizzes? Because, for example, you guys, she told me that there's a 30% opt in rate for webinars and 80 to 90% opt-in rate for quizzes. That is a enormous difference. So how do you, like, what are some things that you noticed in addition to like making this a positive thing about hope, about the person, diagnostic, or really diagnostic, it sounds like is the best move no matter what for list building or sales, right?
No, no. For personality and
Oh.
buzz creation, personality quizzes charts them all. So I'll give you an example of
Ah.
an optic brand that did 1 million in sales because of a personality quiz. So at that time, they brought up 8 trending frames, and then they said, like, what, like, which frame will suit your personality, and like, what personality do you have that matches with this frame. So they created, obviously, like 8 different landing pages for this, and it blew up. So another BuzzFeed quiz, which is the most viral quiz yet, is, which city should you really live in? So, when you have these sort of personality driven quizzes, when your goal is audience building, when your goal is brand awareness, that's when this will be more beneficial to you, not the diagnostic quizzes. Because you need audience, you need people, more eyes, and diagnostic quizzes will get fewer eyeballs, but it will get more qualified eyeballs into your pipeline. So
Hmm.
when you want brand awareness, that is the better approach to quizzes than the diagnostic one.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know what kind of like when I think about a personality quiz for me, it's like I could do different types of personalities, like sales personalities, but nobody wants to get salesy Steve.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be douchebag Dave.
So
So it's like you want them to be personalities that they're like, like we all want to be Gryffindor, but we're Ravenclaw and we're not going to be like upset about it.
yeah.
Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I feel like there's a lot of really actionable advice here that you could follow and implement. And I love that you made it more approachable there at the end, Alefiya. And you can tell that she's very creative. So check her out, everybody. And thank you so much for listening. If you thought this was valuable, please review it, share it with your friends. Alefiya is amazing. So reach out to her if that's something you want to look into. And I'll see you guys next time.